Hey, how's it going and welcome to another Jojo June video. Alright, so this is the big one. As you can see, this is the big boy. So this is more or less the best, JoJo character sorter I could find on Tiermaker. This seems to be the most comprehensive one. There might be a couple of stowaways that are missing, but it seems like everybody is pretty much accounted for. The only major omissions are the JoJolion characters. Like, you see Gappy is right here, but the rest of them are missing. But yeah, this is just parts 1 through 7. Yeah, I got some coffee. We're gonna be here a while. I guess we'll just go ABC order. Start with Akira. So I like Akira a lot. I think I will put him in A tier. Yeah, Akira's cool. I think he works really well as kind of like the mid-boss of Diamond is Unbreakable. He's a good sort of threat to work towards while they're building up their arsenal of stand users. And just the mystery of wondering, like, oh man, what does this guy look like? And then he shows up and he looks like that. He's got the fucking guitar with him. I also like the part where Josuke breaks his finger and he, strums the guitar to fix it. Alessi. Ooh. See, this guy's horrible, but he's so awful that it kind of works. So I think C is about good for him. Maybe I'd bump him up, but I think he's okay where he's at. Alternate Diego. Oh man, okay. Alternate Diego's just existence is a pretty hotly contested subject. I don't mind him, but he does come off as being a little bit fan servicey, which I don't like. It does feel a little bit out of place, the fact that he just has the world. But it's like, his existence makes sense within the context of Funny's ability and kind of his mindset when it comes to the corpse. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just bring in a Diego, he'll probably do my bidding for me. I also love his death, when, the real Diego's head is brought up to him and he just explodes. So I'm kind of conflicted. It's like, I like what he is, but does he need to exist? Not really. So, I guess I'll put him in B. I do like him, but I don't know, he's maybe a little bit on the nose about his existence. Anasui, I'm not really super crazy about him. He's one of my least favorite, JoJo, one of the good guys. Even though he's kind of a weird freak, but I don't know, he never really did a whole lot to stand out to me. I like the part during the Bohemian Rhapsody shit when he's like, where the fuck is Mickey Mouse? Yeah, I don't know, I almost want to put him in C, but, I don't quite like him enough to be in B. I'll just put him in B for now. I might change that. Andre Boom Boom. He's okay. He's not super particularly memorable. The Boom Booms are more kind of a family than they are individuals, I guess. Here's the other one whose name I don't remember. Yeah, I'll kind of just lump the Boom Booms together. Not sure where the other one is at, but yeah, they're okay. Their stand's kind of neat. This isn't like a review of stands. I was tempted to do a tier list about stands, but I don't know, we'll have to see. I feel like I can talk more about characters than I can stands. Angelo. It's kind of funny how, Josuke fights one of the most evil fucking people in the whole part first. You know, not counting when he fights Jotaro, this is his first, stand battle. And it's with this horrible murderer man who kills his grandpa. So yeah, he works really well as being the first bad dude that, Josuke fights, so I guess I'll put him in B. I don't quite, like him that much as a character, but he's fine. Anne, the stowaway girl. I don't hate her, but I'm not crazy about her either. She's kind of just there and then she's gone. Some people have this weird fixation on, why didn't she come back? It's because she's not anybody who matters. Would you think she was gonna show up when Dio was about to cut off, Jotaro's head with the stop sign? She was gonna go, not so fast, Dio! It is I, the stowaway girl, but she's fine. You could remove her from the story and it wouldn't affect anything, so I'll just put her in C. Anubis. Ooh. I actually do like Anubis. This is one of the rare cases on this list of, a stand also being a person. Or having a personality, I should say. I always tend to like that whenever the stand is, its own entity. But yeah, Anubis is funny. I like how freaked out he gets. So I'll put him in... Yeah, I'll put him in B. This guy's name, I think, is Arabia Flats or Arabia Fats. He's the sun guy. He's not even a character, really. I think this one panel he shows up in is his only appearance. Arnold. Doggos automatically get put in at least S tier. Avdol. Avdol is another one of the, party members that I don't really have, like, I don't care super a whole lot about him. It wouldn't ruin my life if he just wasn't, like, a thing. He has some cool moments. I like his fight against Polnareff, and him and Joseph's fight against, Midler. Or no, not Midler, fucking Mariah, yeah. So, I guess, I might have to rework this B tier a little bit, because I don't quite like him enough to put him in A, but I don't know, I'll just leave him in A for now. I might rework this B tier a little bit. Aya, I guess I'll give her a B. She's okay. I feel like she's mostly there to facilitate, like, the development of Yukako and Koichi's story. And contrary to popular belief, Aya wasn't just made for Kira to have an out, for him to swap out his face. Araki legitimately didn't come up with the connection between, you know, a serial killer probably wanting to escape and change his face and her ability until literally when he was writing the chapter, I think. So yeah, she's okay. I did feel kind of bad when she got bloated up. Boingo! Yeah! Dude, I fucking love Oingo and Boingo. They're like some of my favorite, you know, side stand users. They are just the funniest fucking comedy routine in the whole series. Them and, like, Josuke and Rohan is some of the shit that cracks me up the most. But yeah, Oingo and Boingo are hilarious. Thoth is one of the most, like, funny abilities. It's literally just a comedy routine. It's like, yeah, this thing will happen. And it does, but it's wrong. Oh man, that's some good shit. And I'm glad he got a second fight with Whole Horse. Like, come on, fucking Boingo and Whole Horse. That's a great combination. Bruford. Bruford's, he's pretty okay. I don't think I would ever be like, oh man, Bruford, my favorite Part 1 character. But he's, you know, he's good for what he is. Gives, Joey Jojo the fucking Sword of Luck and Pluck, and then Tarkus kills him. I've pronounced this guy's last name, like, so many different ways throughout the years. You know, Bucciarati, Bucaletti, Buccarati, Bucciaretti. So I try to just resort to calling him Bruno, because it's hard to fuck that one up. But yeah, Bruno's good. Like, don't kill me for this one, but I honestly find him to be a more interesting protagonist than Giorno. I have started to like Giorno more over the years, but I've always felt like I've just been more interested in seeing where the story takes Bruno. And the shit about him dying against Diavolo and then being revived, but he's like this zombie man, I think is super interesting. Now, he can't really feel anything anymore, but he keeps on keeping on. And his death is always the one, like, at least out of Part 5, that made me feel the most. So, for Bruno, I think I will put him in S. Caesar. Oh, man. It's interesting how much of a love him or hate him character Caesar is. Like, I know Medi, shout out to Medi, really does not like Caesar. For me, it really is more of a just ambivalence about him. When he died, I felt less of a, damn, that sucks, like, I'm going to miss Caesar, and more of a, damn, I feel bad for Joseph kind of thing. I like his powers a lot. I think that using bubbles with the Hamon is cool, but I feel like if Caesar had a rival in the Pillarmen the way that Joseph did with Wham, it would have made his story a little bit more compelling. That just feels like a missed opportunity to me. The idea that, like, you have AC/DC, who has lava and fire powers, and then you have Caesar, who has bubbles. Now, I think that would have been cool if AC/DC put one of the rings in Caesar. So, oh man, I don't know. I guess I'll put him in B. Let me rework this B tier a little bit, because this is getting fucking weird. I feel like I might want to bump up alternate Diego a little bit more. Yeah, I think I will. Because I find him to be super cool. It's just, you know, other things surrounding his existence. So, yeah, I guess I'm okay with this as it is. Cameo. He's at least funny. This guy has one of the ugliest fucking, like, outfits. But, yeah, I'll put him in C. I do like Judgment. Judgment is a cool stand. Chunky Karn. What do you even say about this guy? He just fucking dies. I sort of wonder about the intricacies of, like, how this guy ended up in such a high rank in you know, the boss's squadron. Because there's no way to test his ability, really. Just imagine the group meeting of that group of fucking psychopaths, and they're like, oh, what's your stand? Oh, what's yours? Green Day, controls mold. What's yours? It's notorious big, but I have to fucking die to activate it. Yeah, I don't know, I'll put him in C. He's weird. Chocolata. Oh, man. What a horrible human being. I almost think I want to put this guy in A tier. Just because he's so terrible. Man. Yeah, I think I will put him in A tier. But yeah, he's really good. I like him and, oh god, what's his boyfriend named? Sekko. Yeah, I really like him and Sekko as the last, you know, non-final boss stand users of the part. And I don't know, it's just fun to watch them be such awful, disgusting people. Yeah, Coco Jumbo. He's an animal, so I gotta put him up in S tier. Do you think Araki had any conception that, like, when he first drew that turtle, that several dozen chapters from that point, Polnareff would become that turtle? I had to look up who this guy is. This is D&G. He's Yo-Yo Ma's stand user. Now, Yo-Yo Ma is hilarious. I would probably put him in S tier if this was, like, just for stands, because I think that's one of the funniest fucking stands. But this guy, like, I don't remember anything about this fucking dude, so I'll just put him in D tier. Danny. Shout out to Danny. Poor dog. Put him in S tier. There sure is a lot of animal cruelty in JoJo. There's a lot of dead animals. Yeah, he's a good boy. Ooh, Darby. Daniel Darby. Go ahead, Mr. Joestar. Yeah, S tier for me, for sure. Absolutely one of my favorite, you know, random JoJo villain guys. And also just one of my favorite Part 3 characters in general. Gambling is super cool. Anybody who's seen, like, Ultimate Survivor Kaiji knows how intense and awesome gambling battles are. But yeah, he's great. I love the fight they have against him, because it's not even really a fight. It's poker. Yeah, he's good by me. This guy's rad. Oh, fuck. Dario Brando. Oh, man. We're about to get into all the Dios here. Yeah, Dario. I don't know, how can you put this guy in anywhere except D tier? He's so fucking horrible. It's crazy to think about how this drunken, useless fucker, like, indirectly ended up getting the universe reset. Fucking goddamn Dario. Okay, Devo the Cursed. I think this is Devo, yeah. He's okay. I can't think of... Yeah, I don't think I could put him anywhere higher than, like, a C. He's okay. Diavolo. I do like Diavolo a lot. I don't know if I'd say he's one of my, like, favorite villains. But I don't know, it's kind of weird because it's like, I love his design, I really like his personality, I love King Crimson. I think Doppio kind of makes the character for me because, like, without Doppio, I would probably honestly put him in A, but it's the combination of him with Doppio that I think puts him in S. So I'll just put the two of them together. I fucking thoroughly love Doppio. Just the idea of this little innocent guy going fucking bonkers and, like, scooping out people's eyes and imagining that telephones are ringing. Just Doppio's great. Y'all ever just die forever? Okay, Diego. Okay, Diego is one of my favorite JoJo characters. God, I hope a fucking Steel Ball Run anime gets made. Oh, man. But yeah, Diego is so fucking good. Everything about him is just awesome. Like, I really like his design. I like his personality, his backstory, his ambition. It's the ambition of this man that, like, has me captivated. Motherfucker walks up to the president and he's like, I'll do this thing, but give me Manhattan Island. Imagine having the cojones to fucking do that. And I also just love the fact that he's pretty much like almost everybody else in Steel Ball Run. He's like a selfish person doing selfish things, but maybe isn't entirely, you know, he's not evil the way that, like, regular Dio is. And his death is maybe my favorite death in JoJo. It's definitely at least in the top 3. Alright, now we get into the Dios. Ooh, okay. I appreciate the fact that they have it segmented into the different parts. So, Part 1 Dio. I almost want to put him in S, but I think I'll put him in A. Or not A, yeah, I'll put him in S. I meant SS. It's really hard to imagine Part 1 without Dio. I don't think it's too controversial of a statement to say that, like, Dio makes Part 1. Just what a delightfully awful human being. Like, Araki perfectly nailed that balance between making a character that's just so unlikable that you don't want them to exist and being more like a love to hate him sort of character. Dio is definitely more on the end of love to hate him, but yeah, Part 1 Dio, excellent, very good. And then Part 3 Dio is also good, but I don't know. He's an amazing final boss for the part. But I think part of the appeal of Dio in part 1 was how active he was in fucking with Jonathan. But I guess it's a different sort of appeal in part 3. In part 3, he's a lot more shadowy, mysterious. Dio in part 3 is definitely a much more slow build-up and then huge, like, explosion release. Whereas Dio in part 1, I feel, is a more consistent, like, adrenaline rush. It's probably a weird way to describe it, but that's kind of how I feel. And then part 6 Dio, I do really like the more philosophical side to his personality. You know, we see a little bit of that in part 3 when Dio's talking about, like, oh, what is it that humans desire the most? It's peace of mind. So, I don't know, I guess I like them about the same. I'm just not crazy about, like, part 6. The plan in part 6 has always been my least favorite thing about it, since it just feels like such a slapped together, just made up thing. But, I don't know. Disco. Chocolatito Disuko. For somebody who has literally no personality, I really like this guy for some reason. He kind of just shows up and he's like, I'm Disco, I'm gonna beat your ass. And he starts fighting Gyro. Oh, man. I almost want to put him in A. I don't know why I like this guy so much. There's something about him is just, like, very appealing to me. Yeah, I'll put him in A. As good as Disco. Donatello. Okay, so, I don't know why this is, but for whatever reason, I find Dio's kids, like the ones in Stone Ocean, obviously, to just be some of the least interesting fucking people. I think part of, like, this is a me problem, but every time I've read through Stone Ocean, I get to the part where Dio's kids get involved, and I'm just like, oh my god, please, just get to the fucking space station. Part 6 gives me the worst case of, okay, let's get it over with, out of any part. Part 3 has a little bit of that, like, okay, like, let's get to Dio, but most of the fights against the Egypt stand users I find so interesting that I kind of, like, I forget about it. And all the fights in part 4 or 5 are pretty good, but the last stretch of part 6, I just find, like, oh god, please just, let's go. And it's weird, because you figured I would be more interested in them just based on the fact that they are Dio's kids, and technically also Jonathan's kids? It must be such a weird thing to think about. Like, you fuck a bitch, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. This is actually my arch nemesis's dick. You think he gets done fucking chicks, and the lady's just like, wow, Dio, your dick was amazing, and Dio just has to go, haha, yeah. Yeah, it's my dick, it's great. Yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I'm gonna put him in D. Him and probably the rest of his, Dio's kids. They just never quite did it for me. The 11 men. There are indeed 11 of them. Yeah, I don't know, do I want to put these guys in D? Not really. I love how I'm questioning if I like 11 faceless, like, nameless NPCs more than fucking one of Dio's kids. Yeah, I don't know, I'll just leave him in, I don't know, I'll bump him up to C. Emporio. I do like Emporio. I do think he is kind of interesting. And I also do like the fact that he's the one who gets the kill on Pucci, just because it's such a weird thing to have happen. It's kind of bizarre. It's almost like this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll put him in B. He's okay. I don't quite like him enough to put him up in A tier, but yeah, he's fine. Enya the Hag. I do like Enya. I think she has an interesting role as being, like, I don't know, almost, not really Dio's second in command, but it seems like out of almost anybody, she's the one who had the closest relationship with Dio. And her impact on just the wider JoJo world is unintentionally huge, because, like, you know, how she buys up the arrows and stuff. So for that, I do find her to be interesting. I'll give her that. So I will put her up in A tier. Erina. She's okay. I don't find her super compelling, but she's cute. I guess I'll put her up in maybe about B. Yeah, that works. I did feel legitimately pretty sad when she passed away at the end of part 2. I feel like this B tier needs reworking. This is a weird accumulation here. Hermes, Hermes. I have no idea how to pronounce this name. I feel like everybody disagrees on how to pronounce this fucking name. But she's, pretty good. I do like her. I guess I'd put her up in A, yeah. She is one of the characters from the Part 6 crew that I like the most. But it's not really like an overwhelming love. I don't know, I do find her kind of cool how she's like kind of a tomboy, she's a little rough, hides money in her titties. AC/DC. I mentioned already how I think AC/DC should have been like Caesar's rival, but I don't know, I still like him. He's funny. I like when he starts fucking crying. I like his fight with Joseph a lot. Even though he dies the quickest out of any of them, he's still pretty memorable for what he is, just for being like the weird goofball of the Pillarmen crew. Dr. Ferdinand, who's like mostly remembered just for being the guy that Diego gets his stand from. Yeah, Dr. Ferdinand's okay. I guess I'd put him in about B. Alright, we got my girl Foo Fighters. Absolutely my favorite Part 6 character. Love her to pieces. And she's also probably just my favorite female JoJo character in general. Really like her personality and her design, even if she's like just stolen from another human being. You know, the idea of her being a stand is cool. Really like her goofy personality. I tend to like female characters and characters in general. They're just a little bit, not quite there. But yeah, Foo Fighters is awesome. Love her dearly. Okay, I said any animal would automatically get put into S tier. However, I should have said any cute animal will get into S tier. So Forever is, I guess I'll put him in B. Mostly just because he set a precedent for being the first animal stand user. And I also think he's just kind of funny. Like, he wears the fucking captain's getup. And his stand is a big ship. He's like, he's just so fucking weird. But yeah, he gets points just for being weird. Formaggio. Formaggio is pretty cool. Not one of my favorite members of La Squadra, but he's okay. His fight against Narancia is really good. I really, really like that fight. But, you know, just visually and personality-wise, I don't think he's as interesting as some of the other La Squadras. Fugo. Okay, Fugo might be my favorite member of Bruno's crew. I think I might like Bruno slightly more, but I do like Fugo a lot. Something about the idea of this, like, really, really smart dude just going absolutely apeshit bonkers sometimes is, like, really funny to me. And for the time he's around, his interactions with, like, Narancia especially are really fun. I still need to read fucking Purple Haze feedback. I remember saying 2 years ago in the previous JoJo June, like, oh man, I need to read Purple Haze feedback because I like Fugo. And I never got around to it, but one of these days I will. I have this weird thing about books where it's hard for me to read a book unless it's like a physical book in front of me. I don't know, something about just reading books digitally I always find kinda difficult. Oh baby. Okay. Funny Valentine. If there was a triple S on this, I would put him up there. Funny Valentine is maybe my favorite villain from just anything. I'm trying to think of another, like, villain off the top of my head that just makes me think, no, I like you more than Funny Valentine. But I really can't. And it's kind of everything. It's the design, the personality, the stand. D4C is my favorite stand. And of course his goal to use the corpse. Like, at least for me, the best kinds of villains are the ones that you can at least on some level agree with. And when kind of the debate around him becomes like, is it okay to do bad things in the pursuit of a good outcome? And just like with Diego, it's the pursuit of victory that I find so appealing. But whereas Diego just wants to win for himself, Funny Valentine's, like, idea of victory is so much grander. It's a national victory against the entire rest of the world. And I just find that very compelling and also agreeable. This is the cat that became Stray Cat. Isn't this cat named Tama? I think so. I'm not sure. But either way, yeah, S tier, definitely. J. Guile. As far as, like, I wouldn't want to say he's a random stand user, because he is, like, Polnareff's entire goal. But as far as, you know, enemy stand users who aren't the final boss goes, he's pretty good. I guess I'd put him in B. If it wasn't for the fact that he's, like, Polnareff's enemy and how he teams up with Hull Horse, I could see him being in C. But it's his relationship with those characters that I think bumps him up ever so slightly. Gaccio. Okay, I think the Part 5 anime made Gaccio maybe my favorite member of La Squadra. I really like Gaccio. In fact, I think I would even put him in S tier. He is one of the funniest fucking characters. It's not Venice, it's Venezia! His English voice is also really good. Like, I'm generally not super crazy about the Jojo dub, but Gyacho's voice is, like, perfect. Yeah, really good fight, really fun personality. I really like these, like, I don't know why, I tend to like these guys that are weirdly angry and violent. Yeah, Gyacho's good by me. Okay, Giorno. Giorno has just never clicked with me. Like, I've had, at this point, about 7 years to kind of, like, figure out how I feel about Giorno. And even after going through, you know, originally when I read it, the really shitty old translation of Part 5, to the good translation of it, to watching the anime, I still just don't feel like I'm that attached to him. I don't know, I've just always liked so many other members of the crew more than him. So, I guess I'd put him in A tier. Like, I can't bring myself to be like, yeah, I like Giorno as much as Anasui or fucking, Forever. But, yeah, I guess that's about a good spot for him. I like him, I don't love him. I think this guy's name is just Greyfly, like the stand. Yeah, I don't know, his attempt at faking the fact that he's the stand user is pretty funny. But otherwise, he's kind of just a random guy. The Green Baby. What do you do about a fucking the Green Baby? Just, like, my general dislike of Part 6's plan, like, the overall story about attaining heaven, makes me biased towards not liking this baby. But he's also a baby, so it's, I'll just put him in C, I guess. I don't, like, how can you hate just a baby? Guccio, I had to look up his name, Guccio. The fact that I remember nothing about him is pretty indicative of him being in D tier. Mista? Yeah, I'd say I would put Mista in A. I do like Mista, but he's not one of my favorites. He's cool, he has a lot of good fights. I really like especially his dynamic with Trish. So he's okay. I'd say I honestly like him about as much as Giorno, maybe slightly more. He's a fun character, just not somebody that I'm like super invested in, so he's okay. Gwess. Gwess is pretty good. I do sort of wish she had joined, like, the Part 6 crew. I think that would have been cool. But she's okay. I like seeing her pop up every now and again. I like having somebody in the prison who's not really Jolene's, like, friend, but kind of they're on okay terms, I guess. I think that's kind of fun. But yeah, she's okay. Gyro, yeah. S tier, baby. Gyro's great. Maybe my favorite Joe Bro. He's definitely my favorite Zeppeli, at least. Gyro's awesome. I really can't think of a better partner for Johnny. They really work off of each other really well, because whereas Johnny is, like, pretty somber, not really in that great of a mood most of the time, Gyro's a little bit more upbeat and happy and positive. Whereas Johnny is outwardly just a selfish asshole with a soft side, Gyro is outwardly a nice guy, but kind of an asshole on the inside. So he's cool. I also just like the dynamic of them being both friends and having kind of a mentor-pupil relationship. Gyro's awesome. Hayatou. I actually do like Hayatou a lot. I think he's a really good non-stan user who gets involved in stan battles. And I also really just like the dynamic between him and Kira, of how Kira's pretending to be his dad and Hayatou knows what's up. You know, Hayatou bites the dust placed on him. So I think that's cool how involved in this battle between stan users this non-stan user becomes. And I did feel really bad for the kid after it was all said and done, and his, like, dad is just dead, and his mom is always gonna wonder, oh, what happened to that sexy, revitalized husband of mine? Whole Horse. Oh man, I don't know if I want to put Whole Horse in S or A. I feel like I like him enough to put him in S, but yeah, I think I'll put him in A. I don't like him quite enough to put him up in S tier, but he's kind of on the precipice of being there. Yeah, Whole Horse is great. Maybe the most memorable, like, random enemy stan user of Part 3. He's always, like, to me, radiated this sort of energy of, like, he could have joined the Crusaders, maybe, since he does have a really distinct personality and stuff, but... And of course I mentioned him with Boingo as being one of my favorite comedy duos of the series. So yeah, Whole Horse, good by me. Holly. Yeah, I guess I'll put her in B. I like her about as much as, like, Arena. She's fine. Pretty good motivation for Jotaro and the rest of them to get their asses to Egypt. You don't really get to see her a ton, but, you know, she's good for what she is. Hot Pants. Smoking. Hot Pants. She's okay. I'm not super crazy about her in general. I don't even like her quite enough to put her up in A tier. Oh, man. Like, I really don't dislike her, she's just not super compelling to me. I think part of it is just the fact that, like, you look at, who's up in SS tier so far? We got, Funny Valentine, Diego, we look down a little bit, here's Gyro, and then there's Hot Pants, who's just, like, pretty good. Iggy, yeah, Iggy. Okay, this is the only, like, animal who's actually on here for a legitimate reason. Iggy's awesome, what a good boy. I think I actually felt more bad about Iggy dying than I did for Abdul. And his relationship with Polnareff is really good. Like, Polnareff, this is just me, but I do think Polnareff has the best and most interesting relationships in Stardust Crusaders. There may have already been a Polnareff video uploaded at this point, I'm not sure. I don't know what order this stuff is going up in, but... Illuso. Yeah, I'd say I like him about as much as, who's that? Is that Formaggio? Yeah. Yeah, he's okay. Never really super stood out to me. He has a good fight, but he's probably on the lower end of the La Squadra guys for me. A lot of these Steel Ball Run characters are out of ABC order. Mike O. He's okay. It's kind of just another stand user. I do like his stand a lot. I think Tubular Bells is really funny. Yeah, I'll put him in B. I like his design. I like the weird pink stuff he has on his head. Axl Rowe. Okay, this is just a weird thing I was thinking of, but my favorite manga series, which is Jojo, and my favorite fighting game, which is Guilty Gear, both have an Axl Rose lookalike. You know, Guilty Gear has Axl Lowe, and this one has Axl Rowe. That's just kind of a weird coincidence, but yeah, I like this guy. He's pretty cool. And then the Pork Pie Hat Kid. I kind of love this guy for some reason I can't quite explain. There's something just really funny and goofy about him. The idea of putting the fucking Pork Pie Hat Kid over Caesar and Anasui is really funny to me. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna put the Pork Pie Hat Kid up in A. And then Blackmore, who's, I like him about the same as Mike O. It's kind of just another stan user. Okay, now we're about to get into, like, every JoJo, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna space it out a little bit. I'm not just gonna do them all in a row. I'll grab one and then do like a few other characters and then do another JoJo, so I don't want to blow my JoJo load here. Jesus. Like, I don't know if it's fair to put him all the way in SS tier because he's like, he's not really a character, he's more like of lore significance. It's kind of like, it's one of those things where if, let's just say Jesus was somebody that Araki just made up, it wouldn't be as impactful, but the fact that it's Jesus, like, as somebody who's not really religious but finds, like, religion and mythology and stuff really, really interesting, I fucking love Jesus being the central, like, point of Steel Ball Run. And just the phrase, Steel Ball Run is a story about a horse race across America so that the president can get the corpse of Jesus. So Jesus SS tier for sure. Since Gappy is right here, I really don't even know how I feel about Gappy. There are some moments where I find him to be, like, kind of fun and interesting, and sometimes I just find him to be not compelling at all. Just, oh man, I don't know. Like, maybe JoJolion will finish, and I'll be like, oh man, that Gappy, he was an SS for me. But as he is right now, honestly, I'm just not that into him. I don't know why it is, but, you know, the mystery surrounding him is interesting. I was about to say something spoilery, but maybe not everybody has read JoJolion, so I'll just say, I found the events leading up to how Gappy came into being to be vastly more interesting than anything having to do with Gappy himself. Four testicle looking ass. Okay, Jangali A. I think it's his name. Yeah, I don't know. He's, I like his design. I like his hair. I guess I'll put him in C. Yeah, I don't know. He exists. Let's see, Kakyoin. Look at this JoJo wall right here. Kakyoin. I do like Kakyoin, but he's not one of my favorites. He is cool, though. I'll say he's a character that I was never, like, super invested in, but I did feel genuinely pretty sad when he ended up dying. I do kind of wish he didn't get blinded, like, right when they got to Egypt. Since I would have liked to have some more, like, fun moments with him before he gets fisted, so... Cars. Oh, man. I do like Cars. I'd say I like him comparably to, like, Part 3 Dio. Yeah, I'd say I like him about that much. I think him turning into the ultimate being is one of the greatest, like, okay, well, I guess they lose moments from, like, anything I've seen. Jojo in general is really good at that, at, like, making the villains seem just fucking unstoppable. I guess that's maybe to some extent to, like, Araki's detriment, because when you make something that's unbeatable by your, like, your current cast, you have to make up a way to beat them. And that leads to, like, oh, Star Platinum can stop time. They are the same kind of stand. You know, just stuff like that. So yeah, Cars is pretty cool. We have, like, a metric fuck ton of Jotaros to get to. Do I like Part 3 Jotaro to put him up in A tier? The answer would honestly probably be no. Man. I would say I honestly do like him and Giorno about the same. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and put him in there. I do like him, but not one of my favorites. You know, he's fun, I just don't find him as compelling as some of the other JoJos. Now, on the other hand, in Part 4, I do really like Jotaro. I think Jotaro works way better in the role of, like, unstoppable final boss of the town. Who's, you know, he's a part of the group, but he's usually busy doing other shit. So yeah, Part 4 is definitely the high point of Jotaro's character for me. Nijimura Keicho. I do think he's interesting. He's like a really bad motherfucker, but I can kinda get why he did what he did. I do find his story to be pretty interesting about how he was given a really shitty hand in life. Like, his dad decided, Dio, and then turned into that. So he ended up, like, killing others and ruining some people's lives just to try to get rid of his dad. And of course his relationship with Okuyasu is good. Like, even though he's willing to shoot him up a little bit, at the very end of the day, he did save his brother's life. So, you know, bad person, probably deserved to die, but I guess there have been worse human beings. Rock, paper, scissors kid. I think this guy's name is Ken. Something about this kid I really like. This A tier is getting pretty populated now. His fucking, like, stand battle against Rohan is one of my favorite things in all of JoJo. You know, just Rohan with this little annoying kid who just wants to play rock, paper, scissors is a perfect combination. Remember when Rohan punched him? I think there's something very wonderful about Araki's willingness to just have his characters punch children. Yeah, this kid's funny. I like this guy a lot. The old guy whose name I don't remember who had Dragon's Dream. I'll give him points for being weird. See, Dragon's Dream I actually like a lot. That stand is really funny because it's totally neutral. It'll just give advice to people that it's fighting. And his backstory about being the leader of a cult is kind of interesting, but I don't know. Beyond that, at most he gets points for being fucking unusual. Yo, Koichi! Yeah! S. I'll just put the two Koichis together. Yeah, so there has already been a Koichi video that's gone up. So if you want to hear my very in-depth thoughts on Koichi, go watch that video, but basically I find him to be the most relatable JoJo character, at least for me. We're basically the same guy, you know, short, not super confident, and he has maybe the best development, like, at least in Part 4. And more than, like, probably any other character in that part, I feel like he changes the most, which is really cool. It's nice seeing him go from this guy who's kind of just helpless to the dude that Jotaro immediately calls to go investigate some kid in Italy. I could maybe bump down Part 5 Koichi a little bit, but it's like, they're the same character. Jonathan. I feel like, as the years have gone on, I have started to like Jonathan more. I guess I'll put him in A tier. I do like him. He's one of the more, like, plain of the JoJos, but I do still like him and his journey quite a lot. His relationship with Dio is obviously super interesting. His death is really sad, and I also kind of like having, like, one JoJo who's just a good person. You know, characters like, Josuke, Jotaro, Gappy, they're obviously good people, but, you know, Josuke is still willing to permanently fuse somebody with a rock and just leave them there forever. Whereas Jonathan never really does anything, like, immoral, really. So Jonathan's cool. Oh boy. Kira Yoshikage. Absolutely SS tier. Although Funny Valentine is my favorite Jojo villain, Kira Yoshikage is a very, very close second. And I would also say, just in general, probably one of my top 5-ish favorite antagonists. Just from anything in general. Man, what a great fucking villain. Probably one of the best depictions of just a psychopathic serial killer ever. Araki fucking totally nails his character. He's just weird enough, but also he has his shit together enough to where you could totally believe, you know, in the idea that this is a real person who has killed almost 50 women. His stand is great. All of his fights are really good. He has a lot of great moments. It's just, oh man, Kira Yoshikage is so fucking good. And his design, he's visually... Although I love Funny Valentine's design, I think Kira has to take it just visually for me. I'm a sucker for suits, for whatever reason. So yeah, Kira Yoshikage, absolutely SS tier. This is that other Boom Boom brother. I don't remember his name. Yeah, he's okay. Like I said, they're more kind of a group, I feel, than they are individuals, really. So they're fine as they are. This guy is named Lang Wrangler. I had to look him up. I completely forgot this guy. Yeah, man, poor Part 6 is getting a bad rap around here. I feel like for this, when I reach the point of not remembering your name or your stand or anything you do, then you kind of deserve to be in D tier. Yeah, definitely not particularly memorable for me. Abacchio. I'm not sure if I want to put him in A tier or an S tier. I guess I'll put him in A. I'm leaning towards S a little bit, but I don't like him as much as, like, Fugo or Bruno. Yeah, Abacchio's cool. I really like his story about being a cop turned gangster. That's just an interesting concept, and I also really like his design a lot. Remember when he got Giorno to drink piss? And as far as Part 5 characters goes, I'd say his death is number 2 for me. Bruno's is number 1, and then his is number 2, mostly just because of how sudden it is. You know, Doppio fucking nails him! Lisa. She's okay. I guess I'd put her about a B. Not super crazy about her, but she's cool. I will say, I do think I like her a little bit more as a Hamon, like, master and teacher than I did Zeppeli. You know, Zeppeli's cool, but something about the way Lisa trained Joseph and Caesar I find, like, really cool. Yeah, fuck it, climb up this pillar. But beyond that, she's okay. She has neat stuff going for her, like how she's, you know, Joseph's mom. Leaky eye ass Luca. Yeah, I'll put him in B. He's okay. He's one of the more memorable, like, antagonists who's not a stand user, which I feel like is a pretty uncommon thing. I like how he beats people up with a shovel. Leaky ass motherfucker. Lucy. Speaking of non-stand users, yeah, Lucy's cool. I don't think I like her enough to put her in S tier, but I'll give her a solid A. I like how important of a role she ends up playing in the end. Like, she becomes the one who has the corpse and has Love Train, and she ends up killing alternate Diego. So she ends up being pretty badass. She's not just, like, some observer. Magent. This guy's okay. He's kinda cool. I guess I'll put him in B tier. I'm not crazy about him. I do like his design and some of his personality quirks. Poor fucker ends up trapped at the bottom of the ocean forever. That man didn't deserve that. He's not that bad of a dude. I mean, I guess it is up to him. He could just let the thing stop and fucking die, but, like, I don't know, he's okay. Oh, poop boy. I think I'll give him a D. Something about this baby I have a particular dislike of. I don't know, something about, like, a baby with a person's intellect is just really freaks me out. Like, I don't want it to exist. So I'll put him in D, just for being fucking freaky. Let's do a Joestar. Jolene? I'll do Jolene. Jolene might be my least favorite Joestar. It's either her or Gappy. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just not crazy about it. She has a lot of fun moments. I do like a lot of her quotes, especially. I like how foul-mouthed she is, but I don't know, something about her just doesn't do a whole lot for me. Maybe she's just, like, a victim of the part she's stuck in, because I do really like the setting of Part 6. I think the idea of them being in a prison is super, super cool. But I always just found myself so much more interested in what was going on with, Hermes, with Foo Fighters. I'm hoping the Part 6 anime comes out and that ends up making me like her a little bit more. Mariah. Ooh. I almost want to put her an A, but I don't think I like her quite that much. I'll give her a B. She's pretty good. I think the duo of characters she ends up fighting, like Joseph and Abdullah, is the perfect combination for her to fight. I think the only combo that could have been better is like old Joseph and Polnareff. That would have been fucking awesome, but she's fun. The Egypt guys are like generally a pretty interesting group of stand users, so she's another good inclusion for that group. Masazo. Okay, this guy is funny. I feel like just based on funny points, I have to put him up here. I think funny points is what you get graded on over on iFunny. Yeah, this guy's just a fucking comedy routine. I love the interactions he has with Rohan, and how obsessively he tries to hide his back, and how Rohan is just like, but I want to see. And once Rohan does see the back, he kind of just dies, which is also funny in a way. This is such a fucked up list. Even I have to sit here and go, okay, wait a minute. Masazo is an A. Jolene is in B tier. Yes. Yeah, Thunder McQueen. This guy's great. This is like maybe my favorite random stand user in Part 6. This guy is so fucking funny. Just the fucking lengths he's willing to go to try to get Hermes. I don't know, there's a sort of morbid comedy to this guy that I really like. And yeah, his fight is also just pretty good in general. Malone. I kind of want to put this guy in A just because I find him so, like, weird. And with this fucking laptop, I think I'll put him in B, actually. I do like him a lot, but he's not one of my favorite members of La Squadra. Yeah, I think B is good for him. Midler. Midler's interesting, because in the manga she appears for a panel, and she's, like, barely drawn at all. She's pretty much only fleshed out from the JoJo Heritage to the Future fighting game. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll put her in C. Like, she has a good design, but in the manga, there's so little of her. Mikitaka, yeah, boy, S tier, baby. Definitely the best alien character who is an alien and not just the stand user in JoJo. I tend to really like characters that, like, I just find funny. That seems to be a theme here. Is as long as you can make me laugh, then you're good by me. Like Boingo, Masazo, like, just random people. As long as I think you're funny, then you're in a pretty high position. Yeah, Mikitaka is great. I fucking love anytime he's involved with anything. It's really funny. Of course, the classic is the Rohan and Josuke, the dice game. When he just continuously turns himself into, like, the highest rolling dice because he doesn't understand, like, the nuance of it. Yeah, Mikitaka is great. Guess I'll put some of these Jotaros up. This one's Part 5, this one's Part 6. See, like, the thing is, he's the same character as he is in Part 4, but he's just around for such a little point in time. He only really shows up on, like, phone calls with Koichi to tell him, oh yeah, there's this vampire called Dio and I killed him and, Giorno's his son. So, I don't know, I guess, this is a weird one. I guess I'll put him in B. Like, cumulative Jotaro is more like an A, but his appearances are so scattered, I'll just put Part 6 up in A as well. Because I do like his appearance in Part 6 a lot. Just not as much as Part 4. It's so fucked up how the same person is in 3 different tiers, but whatever. Mirashan. Oh, okay. Mirashan automatically gets into a good spot because every gambling stand is awesome. Those are always some of my favorite battles in JoJo, is just like the gambling, you have to wager something kinds of fights. I like the goth GF vibes she gives. Miyusha, I think is her name. She's okay. I think her stand is really cool, but the lady herself doesn't really do it for me. I'll put her in B. She's fine. Something about her hair bothers me. I don't know why. I want to, like, fucking brush down her hair. Terunosuke. I do like this guy. I feel like he's one of the few characters in Part 4 that falls into, like, just another stand user tier. I guess B is good for him. I do think his gimmick revolving around fear is cool. How he looks for your fear tell and then he gets you with the enigma. But otherwise, he's sort of just there. Rat. Rats. We are the rats. What do you do about a fucking rat? Again, the cute animal clause is in effect. Only cute animals get into S tier. I think I'll put him in B, simply for the fact that he beat Jotaro in a fight. You ever kill Dio, but then lose a fight against a rodent? So yeah, that's cool. The rat has a pretty good fight, so for that alone, I'll give him a B. Narancia. I do like Narancia, but I don't love him. I would put him in A tier. I do like him. I would say I like him comparably about as much as Mista. He's cool. He has some really good fights and stuff, some fun moments, but I don't know, I didn't find myself super attached to him. When he died, I thought it sucked, but it wasn't like my life was ruined or anything. I will say that in the anime, the little bit that they added where Fugo is walking down that alley and he looks up to the sky right after he dies, I think that, like, helped me find myself more attached to him in general. Since I like Fugo so much, so, you know, reminding me of the correlation between the two, I think helped me like Narancia a little bit more. Endul. Yeah, he's okay. This guy is probably the least memorable Egypt stan user. Yeah, I think I'll put him in C. He's okay. He's kind of just there. The fact that he's blind is interesting. Okuyasu's dad. I cannot lie, I do look a lot like Okuyasu's dad. I think I'll put this guy in A. Above Jolene. I don't know, I just find his existence to be interesting. Like, he's one of Dio's bud boys gone horribly wrong. Just turned into this unkillable blob. I think that's neat, and it's really cute at the end seeing him with Stray Cat. So I'll give him an A for being both, like, interesting and also sad and kind of funny at the same time. Okay, this is a new recording session. I've made the executive decision that we're gonna make a new tier. I'll call it B+, the nice blue color. I feel like there should be a little bit more separation. I know we're already, like, over an hour into this, but I feel like there should be a little bit more of a separation between, like, A tier and B tier, because this is kind of all over the place. So basically, the system that I'm working with now is SS tier is, like, my absolute favorite characters. S tier is love. A tier is like a lot. B+ is gonna be like. B is I enjoy some things about you. C tier is yeah, you exist. And D tier is, like, either active dislike or literally completely forgot who you are. So I'm gonna move around some characters. I'm not gonna explain, like, the reasons why each one is going into B+. This is just to kind of even out, like, this A and B tier a little bit. Move you, move Disco, move Enya, move Masazo, I'll move you, I'll move Okuyasu's dad, guess I'll bump Part 5 Jotaro up a little bit, I'll bump up Jolene. I do like her a little bit more than some of these other bozos in here. Move Arena, move AC/DC, I'll move Gappy, Lisa. I'll bump Anubis a little bit. Move Holly. Bump up Hot Pants a little bit. Yeah, this seems a little bit more normal. This seems more like something that a human would make. Maybe. I'll move Emporio up, too. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, this helps me kind of separate, because there's a lot of characters here. That helps me separate the difference between I like you and you're okay a little bit more. Norisuke Higashikata. This guy has the weird distinction of being made more interesting because of Part 8. In Part 7, he's kind of just some weird dude who happens to be in the race, who's, like, named Higashikata. But then in Part 8, there's the entire, like, Higashikata family. So I guess that made me pay a little more attention to him, you know, going through Part 8 and then thinking, oh yeah, that old guy. I guess he mattered more than I thought he would. So I'll put him in B. He's okay. Nukasaku. He gets funny points. He's at least a kind of a funny, like, not really a threat. Yeah, he's okay for what he is. Oingo, yeah, dude. S tier, baby. The fucking comedy duo. Oingo Boingo are great. Like I said, it really is the duo that puts them into S tier. One of them on their own is, like, probably at most A, but it's the combination of them together that bumps them up to S. Their antics, like, consistently crack me up. Oi, Josuke. Oh, man. Okuyasu. Might be my favorite Joe Joe. I think Gyro might have him beat slightly, but... Now, Okuyasu's awesome. Really fun personality, even though he is a little bit of a... not the smartest guy in the world. He has a very wholesome existence that I like. And that shit's a tearjerker when, like, he comes back during the fight against Kira, and he zaps the bubble. And he tells the story about how he basically died and he was going to heaven, and then his brother was like, nah, dude, make up your own mind about this. That's just like, oh, man. Yeah, Okuyasu's awesome. Old Joseph, I guess this counts as, our Joestar. Oh, man. I really like Old Joseph a lot. He is my second favorite Stardust Crusader. Number 1 may surprise you. But yeah, he's great. That's just something that I tend to like in general in JoJo is like, when the previous JoJo ends up becoming more of a mentor figure, you know, that happens with Part 2 Joseph going into Part 3, and then Jotaro going into Part 4. And I love how he maintains so much of the essence of, like, who Joseph was, just being a little bit wiser. He is also my main in JoJo Heritage for the Future, which is a game I'm not very good at, but yeah, Old Joseph, pretty cool. Oya Komava. I'll give this guy a B+, just for, I like his design a lot. He's a really weird-looking fucking guy. Even though he is kind of just another stand user, I do think he is pretty memorable. Actually, I see another one I want to bump up. Let me move Mariah into a B+. Harry Cola. He's there. I guess I'll give him a B. I kind of like him. I don't know. There's something funny about him. Little tiny crooked eye looking ass. Extremely powerful capo ass. Fucking kills himself for the boss ass. Pesci. Pesci is my second favorite. Or no, he might be, yeah, he's probably number 3. I like Pesci a lot. I think he has one of my favorite, just like, sudden dramatic personality changes in the series. Because he goes from this pretty pathetic guy who has, like, no confidence in himself. And then he has this, like, Gurren Lagann-ass relationship with fucking, Prosciutto. And then he dies, and then Pesci, like, gets super serious and becomes really fucking scary. I think that's really cool how Araki managed to make this goofy, not super threatening guy, and then, like, immediately it's, oh shit. Like, the situation changes. So good job, Pesci, you got an S tier. Pet Shop. Pet Shop is cool. I'll give him that. I guess I'll put him in B. I don't like him quite enough to put him up in B+, but he does have a really good fight with Iggy. There's something really gruesome about how Iggy crushes his beak like that. I don't know, something about the idea of breaking a bird's beak like that just seems super cruel. You know, it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, a lot of animal death. Pocoloco. I kinda want to put this guy in S tier. Pocoloco is fucking awesome. You know, I'll put him in A. Yeah, another comedy goldmine of a character. He's consistently really funny, and his interactions with Heya are hilarious. And I can think of no one more deserving of winning the Steel Ball Run race. The Virgin Johnny, the Chad Pocoloco, Paul Naref, oh baby. Okay. Paul Naref is my favorite Part 3 character. SS tier, bada bing. But he's just the character that I always found myself the most invested in. It's sort of a similar thing with, like, Giorno and Bruno, to where I find that Polnareff is a more interesting protagonist than Jotaro. I find his relationships with, like, the whole cast super interesting. Just his whole story, his development, his fights, how he starts, where he ends up, all of it is just, like, great. And then there's him in Part 5, again, keeping up with the theme of I like characters turning into mentors. I think I'll give him an S. Since he's, you know, understandably lacking a little bit of that, you know, sense of humor and fun whimsy that he had in Part 3. But he's also a fucking cripple on a mission, so... But no, I'm super glad that of all the characters, Paul Naref is the one who, you know, came back for Part 5. It's kind of a weird coincidence, I guess, that, like, Koichi and Paul Naref, who are both two of my favorite characters, end up coming back for Part 5. That's just kind of cool. But yeah, Paul Naref, excellent. Very, very good. Pulpo, damn, he thick. I think I'll put him in B+, just because he's so memorable. You know, how could you forget Pulpo? Like, how the fuck did he get that big? Like, for real. Even though he is, like, a piece of shit, there's something kind of cool and suave, I guess, about him. Just being in prison and having all this wine and guns and shit delivered to him. That's the dream, baby. Prosciutto. Prosciutto is another one of those characters that, like, I feel as if it's the duo of him and Pesci that bumps him up. I think I'll put him in B+. I do like him, but not quite enough. Pesci is definitely my favorite of the duo. Enrico Pucci. Okay, Pucci is definitely my least favorite main antagonist. I don't know, I've just never found the guy that compelling. Like, there's some cool things about him. I like the fact that he's a priest. I think that's kind of interesting. I just don't feel that much of an investment in his villainy. Like, whenever Kira or Dio or Diavolo are around, I'm like, oh shit, it's that villain. But when it's Pucci, I'm just like, yeah, there's Pucci. He's doing Dio's plan. I guess that's part of what bothers me about him. It's just the fact that it feels like there's such a lack of, it feeling like it's his own plan. I don't know, I weirdly feel like I would be more invested in him if Dio was removed from the equation, like if he was his own man with his own plan. So with all that, oh man, I know this is, but I really just don't like this guy. Like, I don't hate him enough to put him in D tier, but he really is just the odd duck out from, like, every other JoJo antagonist. At least for me, like, I even find Cars more compelling. Raimi. Raimi's cool. I don't know if I quite want to put her in A. I'll give her a B+. Raimi's cool. She's not really around a super huge amount, but I do like her connection with Rohan a lot. I think she's a really good way to make, you know, stubborn-ass Rohan invested in the mystery. And she's also just pretty fun whenever she shows up. Rikiel. I like this guy a little bit more than the other Dio kid. I think I'll put him in C. Yeah, he's fine. Not super incredibly memorable. Oh, baby. Welcome to the true man's world. So, Ringo Road Again is the best main antagonist of any part. I think this guy is good enough. Like, if Funny Valentine was not the main antagonist of Steel Ball Run, I do genuinely feel as if Ringo could have taken the mantle. Just his philosophy and his backstory, his stand, and I really can't think of any other final boss that has that big of an impact on the main characters. You know, people like Akira end up making a big impact, Angela, a lot of the Part 4 people do that actually, but in general they're more just kind of like stepping stones, but no, Ringo Road Again is like a fucking instrumental part of the journey of Steel Ball Run for Gyro and Johnny. And just his whole philosophy of the true man's world, of making your own decisions for yourself, of not being a conformist, like survival of the fittest. It's all just really appealing philosophy for me. So Ringo's just excellent, very, very good. Speaking of excellent, Risotto Nero. He's not one of my absolute favorites, but he is... Passione has some good dudes. These three are honestly fairly interchangeable for which one is my favorite, just like depending on the day. I might be like, oh, Nero is my favorite, and then Gaccio, and then Pesci, and then some other time I might say a totally different order, but Nero's super cool. He has a fucking awesome fight against Doppio. And that's a gut-wrencher when he's about to get the kill on Doppio and fucking Aerosmith gets him. It's just like, no, dude, fuck. And you end up feeling genuinely pretty bad for him. Like, even though they caused the gang so much shit and so many problems, and most of them are kinda not great people, when Nero bites the dust, you can't help but be like, damn, dude, they did that for nothing, shit. They could've just not, and have been fine. So I think that's kind of admirable in a way, being so dedicated to getting revenge on somebody that you're willing to, like, lose all your lives. Mrs. Robinson, who's actually a guy. This guy's okay. He's kind of just there. I think I'll put him in C. Not super memorable. Just enough for me to be like, oh yeah, you existed, but not enough to, like, care. Kishibe Rohan. Gotta be SS tier. So Rohan is one of my favorite characters in the whole series. I don't know if he might not quite be top 5. He's at the minimum, like, top 7. I was considering doing a Rohan video for this JoJo June, but I figured it's already kind of part 4 heavy. So maybe in the future I'll end up doing one, but I don't know. He's another character I just kind of love everything about him. Like his personality, his quirks, his stand. He's just such a funny character. Like all of his interactions with Josuke are hilarious. I really like his relationship with Koichi. It's just, oh man. And I'm also kind of glad that like Rohan is weirdly the one character that has managed to branch out so far beyond just like the scope of his own part. You know, there's Rohan Goes to the Louvre, and there's Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan. And so it's very apparent that Araki really, really likes Rohan. Which is good by me, because I do too. So, yeah, Rohan SS tier for sure. Romeo. I guess, like, I don't hate the guy. I actually kind of feel sort of bad for him. Because, like, at the end of part 6, he helps Jolene and them, you know, like, get away. But Jolene still gets Hermes to hurt him with Kiss. like, that wasn't necessary. Come on, Jolene. I don't know, he's such a minor character. Do you understand? Rubber Soul. I'll give this guy a solid B+. He's pretty cool. The Kakyoin disguise he does, I think, lends a lot to him, because if he kind of just showed up as he was, it wouldn't be as fun, but the deception of him starting out as Kakyoin, I think, is what kind of makes it, but yeah, he's cool, he's pretty memorable for what he is. Stroheim. Oh, man. I do like Stroheim a lot. I don't know if I want to quite put him in SS tier, but I do think S is pretty good for him. I think Stroheim is a good kind of encapsulation of just, like, why I like Battle Tendency. It's just the fact that he's just an insane work of schlock. He's a cyber Nazi. Even though he starts out as an antagonist, by the end of it, I really liked the guy and was genuinely pretty sad when, like, you find out that he died in Stalingrad. His theme song in the anime Propaganda is also really fucking good. But yeah, Stroheim is cool. Josuke's grandpa. I'll give him a B+. He's pretty okay. He's fun for when he's around. He's not really somebody who's around long enough for, like, when he does get killed by Aqua Necklace, it sucks, but it's not really like, oh man, I've lost somebody I care so much about, but no, he's fine. I feel more bad for Josuke than I do for, like, him losing his own life, I guess. Sale. You can Saligma balls. This guy's okay. His fight's pretty good. Kind of forgettable. Definitely not as interesting as, like, most of La Squadra. I'll give him a B. He's fine. Santana. It's a hot one. Santana works really, really well as an introduction to the Pillarmen and how fucking terrifying they are. But Santana's kind of more like a species than a person. Doesn't really have, like, personality traits. He's mostly just Pillarmen abilities, so I'll give him a C. Definitely the least interesting of the Pillarmen. Scarlet Valentine. The part where she tells Lucy to put her butt on her face is funny. But beyond that, she's just kind of there. I'll give her a C. Scalipi. This guy's kind of interesting. He has the unique distinction of being, like, technically the last fight that's shown in part 5. That's pretty weird when the main antagonist, like, his defeat isn't the last thing that happens. The only other one that, like, comes to mind for that is, Alternate Diego. But I think the stand is kind of more interesting than the guy himself, so, I'll give him a B. Sekko. He's almost like an animal. I'll give him a B+. Just for being such a weird person. Yo, Shigechi, okay, so, the remarkable thing about the Part 4 anime is how it made me go from, like, when Shigechi died in the manga, I thought, yeah, that sucks, whatever, they weren't that fat fucker. But just the impact of, like, it's the sound. Like, the one thing that I think makes the JoJo anime such a good experience is the sound. Just, like, audibly hearing, ora, 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 or, like, the noise that the world makes. Or all the different soundtracks and the sound effects. Like, that's the shit that propels it to being, like, in some ways better than the manga. It's that audible experience you can't really get with, you know, with a comic. So, I will give Shigechi an A. And it's mostly just because of his death and, like, the events leading up to it. Shigechi, like, before his confrontation with Kira is, like, a C tier. Maybe a B. But it's the fight he has against Kira, and, like, his willpower to keep himself alive and keep his family and friends safe. pretty admirable, so I'll give him an A just for being cool in the last few moments of his life. Shinobu, she's fine. Not a character I would say like, oh man, I love that Shinobu, but her interactions with Kira are really funny. So I guess I'll give her a B. She gets involved with Kira Yoshikage points. The invisible baby. I'll give the baby a B plus. Mostly just because she's funny. Like, as we've established, if you're funny, you get high up. Not really a whole lot of personality because baby. I mean, I guess there's also Manish Boy who kind of defeats that point, but whatever. B plus. Good job, baby. Let's do a Joestar. I'll do Joseph. Okay. Don't kill me for this one. But I am that fucker who likes Joseph more than Giorno. You know, I would never sit there and be like, ah yes, Joseph, a more well-written, better character than Giorno. It's more just like my chimpanzee brain likes watching Joseph do things more than Giorno. I'm totally like, ooga booga, he pulled out the Tommy gun and he shot straight, so ooga booga. But yeah, it really is just entertainment value at the end of the day for me. I just have a lot of fun with Joseph. So he gets an S from me. Smokey Brown. Did you know that Smokey became the first black mayor in his home state of Georgia? I'll give him a B. He's okay. He doesn't really feel particularly important. Dude, what if Smokey learned the Hamon and he helped to fight the Pillarmen? That would have been sick. Okay, but for real, why didn't Joseph call Smokey when fucking Dio came back? Like, come on, bro. He was the first black mayor in his home state of Georgia. He probably had a stand. I don't know. Sorbet and Gelato. I feel like it's hard to rank these guys just because of how little screen time they have. It's pretty well established that they gay. I don't know. I'll give them a C. I just don't know enough about them to be like, oh yeah, Sorbet and Gelato. Love those guys. Soundman, aka Sandoman. This guy's alright. I'll give him a B+. He's pretty cool. He's a pretty prominent character. Like, I'm pretty sure he's the first character we see in Steel Ball Run. I don't know, I feel like there could have been a little bit more to this guy, but kind of just gets killed. I don't know. He's alright for what he is. Speedwagon. Okay, Speedwagon is my favorite Part 1 character. SS tier for sure. What do I do about old Speedwagon? I guess I'll also put him in SS, since they're basically the same guy. Yeah, Speedwagon's great. Just what a fun, lovable character. I actually have an autograph from the English voice of Speedwagon right next to my bed. But yeah, Speedwagon's such a cool guy. I was in constant fear throughout Part 2 of him dying. I mean, he does die, but I mean get killed. But he survives and forms the fucking Speedwagon Foundation. So yeah, man, good on you. Multi-millionaire Speedwagon? Chadwagon? Sportsmax. This guy has a funny name, at least. I'll give him a B. One of the more memorable, like, random Stone Ocean enemies, because he has the whole thing going on with Hermes, Hermes, I don't know. I also like his stand a lot, but he's alright. It was pretty satisfying seeing Hermes get the kill on him. This guy is Squallow. I don't know, I don't find these guys super memorable, honestly. I think I'll put him in C. I'd maybe bump them up a little bit. They're definitely a step down in comparison to La Squadra. Sure are a lot of boys being gay in Part 5. We got Squallow and Tiziano, got Chocolata and Secco, Sorbet and Gelato. Why Passione gay, dude? What's up with that? Steely Dan. Oh, man. I think I have to give this guy an A, just for being so horrible. There's just something delightfully malicious about this guy. I don't know if any other, like, Part 3 stand user quite gets up to his level. Other than, you know, Dio, obviously. Of just being such a punchable fucking person. And the fact that he has such a tiny little sleazeball stand, like, really fits. So he's memorable for sure. I think I'll give him an A. Steven Steele. Another good one. Yeah, I'll give him an A. One of the better, just, like, non-stand user characters throughout the series. I feel like when you're not a stand user, you're kind of just doomed to, like, just being some kind of side role. The only real exceptions I can think of that, like, of a character that matters is Hayatou. But Steven Steele manages to break the mold. He's a pretty interesting guy. I like his backstory with Lucy. I like how he's the organizer of the whole Steel Ball Run race. And just the politics of the race and the corpse and Funny is something I find really interesting in Steel Ball Run. How he unknowingly gets tangled up in this huge conspiracy, and it's all just really good. Give me a fucking Steel Ball Run anime before I die. Straight so. Notably absent from this is, like, Dyer. Messina and Loggins are also not on here, but I guess they don't matter a super a lot. But Straits is on here. Straits is a good first enemy. I'll give him a B. He's, I kinda want to put him in B+, but he's not that interesting. The fact that he's an ally turned enemy is pretty cool. I feel like that basically never happens in JoJo. Trying to think of a single character who's, like, started off as a good guy and then became an enemy. But no, Straits is cool. His fight against Joseph is really good. Alright, we're gonna do a bit of a cheeky lightning round through a lot of these guys, because this video's already fucking quite long. Sugar Mountain, super interesting stand. Not a tier list for stands, but she's still pretty likable and memorable, so I'll give her a B+. Suzy Q, she's cute, pretty fun. I feel bad that Joseph cheated on her. Yeah, she's good. Kobayashi, another good, like, just random stand user in Emporio. I'm putting a lot of people in B+, but yeah, he's a lot of fun. Great first adversary for Koichi to fight. Tarkus. Tarkus is alright. I'll give him a B. Other than Dio, Phantom Blood's not really a bastion of, like, memorable villains, but Tarkus is pretty important. Talents Darby, yeah, dude. S tier. Both of the Darby brothers are awesome. Gamer stand battle. Gamer stand battle. Mountain Tim's a pretty cool guy. I'll give him a B+. Tomoko. Yeah, I'll give Tomoko an A. She's probably my favorite, like, JoJo mom/wife. She's a lot of fun. I wish she popped up a little bit more frequently. Like, she shows up in the Enigma fight. She pops up from time to time, but she's fun whenever she shows up. Tonio, yeah. A tier, baby. Tonio's great. Super memorable despite only, like, really doing anything in his, like, own chapters. Tonio's awesome. I like him about as much as Kobayashi. He kind of just vanishes, like, after, the fight against Rohan. You know, he shows up, but he doesn't really do anything. But, yeah, I'll give him a B+. Oh, yeah, let's do a Joestar. Okay, I'll do Johnny. Johnny is my second favorite JoJo. And one of my favorite characters, like, just in general. I think my favorite thing about him is just how, like, realistic he is as a person. He really sort of blurs the lines between, you know, being a moral and decent person and kind of just being, like, a selfish, objectively not great person. And so it balances out and makes him just feel more like a person than anything. And it's just great to go through the journey of Steel Ball Run with him. Like, him and Gyro basically share the duty of being a protagonist. But, like, Johnny is the Joestar, so... yeah, Johnny's awesome. Love everything about him. His story, his personality, his stand. I love Tusk. And he really is just, like, the perfect main character for a story like Steel Ball Run. This guy is Toyohiro. I'll give him a B. He's fine. He's definitely weird. I'll give him that. But similar to, like, Teranosuke, who's right there, he is kind of just, like, another stand user. But he's fine. Trish. Yeah, I'll give her a B+. I do like her. She's probably my least favorite member of the gang. Her being Diavolo's daughter is interesting, and, like, I like Spice Girl as a stand, but she's fine. She's kind of just there for me a lot of the time. Ungalo. God, this is an ugly fucker. It's crazy how this is Jonathan's child. I'll give him a C. I think he's kind of carried by how fucking cool Bohemian Rhapsody is. Vanilla Ice. He's another really good last stand user before the final boss. He actually kills more people than fucking Dio does. As a character, he's really not particularly interesting. Yeah, I'll give him, I kind of want to give him a B+, just because he's so cool. Yeah, I think I'll give him a B+. Just for, you know, the impact he has on Polnareff, who's my favorite Stardust Crusader. And the fight against him is also really good. Actually, let me move Bruford. Every time I look at this, I see a new little thing I want to change. Wamu! I will give Wamu a B+. Whamu is pretty cool. Weather report. Weather my balls in your mouth. Got him. Yeah, I'm putting way too many people in this B+ tier, but whatever. Yeah, weather's fine. I find him a little bit more interesting than somebody like Anasui, but I don't like him as much as like Hermes or Foo Fighters. Wakapipo. Wakapipo's, again, another B+. He's pretty cool. It is really neat having another, you know, spin user, somebody who has another set of steel balls they fight with. That is cool, because you really don't expect to see another guy fighting with steel balls like that. I do wish he lasted a little bit longer, because, you know, he turns to the side of the good guys, and then he fights Valentine, and he just dies. Viviano Westwood. Completely forgettable random stand user guy. Old Joseph. Old Joseph is more just kind of sad than anything. I will put him in S tier. Yeah, I like all the Josephs for different reasons, you know. Young Joseph is really spry and funny. Old Joseph still has a lot of that spirit, but he's more mature. And this Joseph is more just kind of like sad and cute. That you kind of just want to take him to the park and help him enjoy his final days. I don't know. It is sad seeing him reduced to that state, but he is really lovable, so. Zeppeli-san. It's a big surprise. I'll put him in B+. Yeah, Zeppeli's good. Yeah, Zeppeli's good. He's a cool introduction to the Ripple, and I like how weird of a guy he is to introduce that weird power. He's a good kind of encapsulation of that, I don't know, just the aesthetic of Part 1 Jojo, especially in the manga. That's something about it is really enjoyable and really comfy, I guess. The character's weird goof-ass proportions and shit, but Yoshiro Kira. I'll give him a B. He's a really good accessory to Yoshikage. And there's something, I don't know, weirdly both commendable and super creepy about the lengths he's willing to go to for his son. There's that part where he mentions how, like, Kira killed his mom, and Yoshiro was just fine with it, I guess. And it's also pretty satisfying when he gets fucking exploded. Yukako. I do like Yukako. Even though she is fucking crazy. I think I'll give her an A, actually. Mostly just because of Koichi. I feel as if she was into, like, any other character, I wouldn't like her as much, but it's the fact that she's trying to get with my boy Koichi that makes me like her. She's got good taste in men, and she's also just pretty funny. Yuya, yeah boy, I'll give him an A. Yuya's a cool guy. Dude's just chilling in the hospital. He's got his girls visiting him. Can smell their ovulations. It's disgusting. I kind of wish this guy was introduced, like, earlier in the story. I think it would have been cool if he, like, hung out with the group some more. Since, as it is, he only gets, you know, his fight, where Josuke beats him up, and then the one against Enigma. But he's fun for when he's around. Zucchero. The most memorable thing this guy does is get, like, the torture dance done on him. I'll give him a C. He's fine. ZZ Top. The most memorable JoJo character. This guy's anatomy is fucked. His arms are so weird and, like, huge for no reason. And finally, my favorite JoJo character, Josuke. I did a video about Josuke, like, a few months ago at this point, so you could check that out if you want, but he is my favorite character, my favorite JoJo in my favorite part. He kind of, in a way, is the encapsulation of everything I love about the series. I love his stand, his design, his personality, the fights, his relationships, his awesome hair. So Josuke is just fucking splendid. SS for sure. Alright, here's the thing. Let me do one more run through to make sure I still agree with myself. Yeah, I'd say this is about fine. Like, honestly, when it comes to this, the B+ and B are somewhat interchangeable. Same thing with some of the characters in C and B. It's kind of like, just depending on the alignment of the stars, like the day that I'm sorting the characters, this might change a little bit, but actually, I'll bump Gwes up to a B+. Yeah, there we go. But other than that, I think that's pretty much right. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. This is a very long one. If you actually watched the entire thing and didn't just skip to the end, you're a saint. If you did just skip to the end, that's fine too. I don't blame you. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.